a lot of people who will hate me from what I'm about to say, but I think it's true. I think Jay Dyer has brought more people into Orthodoxy than anybody else here in America in the last 10 years. Now, having said that, and I think it's true, because Jay's been doing this going back to 2017. So he's been doing it for about 9 years. And in 2019, I started to notice people mentioning him. Post-COVID, of course, that picked up quite a bit. But I think he's to be credited, quite frankly, for bringing people into Orthodoxy. Now, having said that, there will be those who then say, but those he brings in, they're wild, they're unmanageable, they have all these ideas and they're crazy, this, that, and the other thing. That's not Jay's fault. That's the fault of the priest and the parish who is not forming these men who are coming in. I have had men like that come to my parish. I have had to deal with it, and it's not a problem. You just have to sit them down and say, okay, whatever you've heard online, now you're going to hear from me as your priest. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to believe. This is how you have to act, and so forth. And if they don't like that, they're going to leave. But to allow someone to come into your church unformed or formed only by the internet, only by online apologetics, and I don't mean just Jay, because there's a lot of other people online who are at this. I think that to just welcome the people who are coming in and go, oh, this is great, we got all these guys coming in, and do nothing to form them, that's the fault of the priest. And he can't complain about anybody else if he is not doing what he is supposed to do to take these men and correct what the internet may have corrupted in them. Now, I know that's not a lot of priests out there might be, now throwing things at their screen at me and things like that. I don't care. This is our fault if we are not forming these men the way they need to be formed. I used to teach guys that were people. I used to teach people coming in. I would start with the creed, but I realized a couple of years ago, I got to start with prayer. I got to start with fasting and almsgiving and the virtues and doing good works and things like that. And if they then start doing all of that, then I'll let them become a catechumen. But they have to start all of this first before I'm going to admit them as a catechumen. They've got to have a right, I love this word, phronima. They've got to have the right mindset if they're going to become an Orthodox Christian. They just can't come in as a quote unquote ortho bro, whatever the hell that means, by the way. I mean, I know what it means, but people kind of throw that term around at anybody they don't like coming into the Orthodox Church. I've kind of noticed that too. Okay, having said that, let's talk about what is meant by ortho bro. Now, if I were to ask people in the comment section right now, or something like that, what do you mean by ortho bro? I think there'd be a lot of different definitions, but there would be some sort of coalescing around the idea of an arrogant young man who thinks he knows it all and probably has never been to an Orthodox church. So it's all up here and none of it is right here. And I think that's the problem that we're facing. Now, having said that, I don't quite frankly think there's a lot of ortho bros out there. And if they're only on the internet, who cares? I don't care about the people who are on the internet. I care about the people who are coming through the front doors of our parishes. And specifically, I care about the people who are coming through the front doors of my church. Now, having said that, if I ask people, and I've asked people repeatedly on the internet, on Facebook and elsewhere, who are you talking about that is an ortho bro? I can't get them to pin down anybody by name. So the ortho bro is this sort of amorphous blob of humanity out there that has no name, that has no face, but is just thrown around as a term and a pejorative term at that. At people that they don't like, who are saying things they don't like or acting ways they don't like and things like that.